ऐसे मार्केट को दे देते ये चिट्टा बड़ा है दे कितना मालूम है ये चिट्टा बड़ा था
अब भूते लगा जाता है
Now, there's quite a bit of criticism online of Rowan Powell's bowling changes, or lack thereof, in the last game. Really allowed Scotland to get away. Michael Leask smashed that remarkable 96. Richie Barrington made another wonderful ODI 100. Today, he's really rattling the changes. I like this move. I think Bertel has a fantastic strike rate in terms of his ability to take wickets. Both are good players of spin, but again, it's that bit of X factor. Slip in place. Might not get the same consistency as Lamachani, but can he be the one to find the breakthroughs? It's driven very elegantly through the covers. Always going to get two there, as Lamachani does well out at deep cover points.
One of the things that we were talking about before in this series with Nepal is that at times it felt like they had their overs decided and Rohit Powell was sticking with that plan. I mean, maybe changing things up might have worked. But yeah, he certainly has kept things interesting, maybe trying not to let them settle against any particular bowler.
Ludicrous strike rate in T20I cricket. He takes a wicket every 11 balls. T20s. But the benefit of him bowling in T20s is that he'll always be able to have 5 outside the circle, 5 in the deep. They don't mind if he goes at 7, 8 runs and over as long as he gets some wickets. Just has to find that consistency with his part-time leg breaks. It's nicely bowled. Angled and aided by the wind, drifts in and then turns away. It's a bit of turn and off for the two wrist spinners.
Still a bit of a breeze as well.
It's going to angle down the leg side. It's going to miss leg stump by quite a way. Plenty of interest, though. I think every appeal is going to go up in a big way. Yep. Man born down in Rupendahe province in Butwell. Just, yeah, probably maybe even pitched outside leg, bit of bat involved as well. Not a lot going for it. Gonna miss the leg stump, no doubt about that. Umpires under the microscope, though, particularly after what we saw in the first innings with those 2 instances of 5 penalty runs. It's the all hometown team of Ryan Milne and David McLean. Third umpire Ghazi Sahel, Graham McRae, our match ref. As we get to the end of the 20th over, single rounds that over out. It's 96 for 2.
सारे विकेट मारे ना तो मजा जीत सका था लेकिन लड़ता था
मार तो देरी मेरा मार तब तो
So it's going to be a heavy diet of spin through these middle overs. As Netherlands continue along perfectly along the rate of what they require, but not without the occasional moment of panic, and there's been a bit of chaos to their running between the wickets. Fielders in the circle are swarming, aren't they? Looking to get themselves a run-out opportunity.
Yeah, they've certainly pushed it. They've pushed the envelope. They've had some fortune because haven't been any direct hits.
Use of the feet down the track, it goes up into the air. Deep cover comes in, holds on, and Baresi's strength proves his downfall. Jubilant celebrations. Nepal feel as though they're in this game, and the cardiac kids are raising the pulses yet again. Bashir Ahmed, it is, who takes the catch. He'll be very satisfied with making that contribution. Looking to go over, long off, doesn't get to the pitch. A little bit of turn on offer and a good catch.
Yeah, well taken in the end. And
No, no,
that
no, no.
is how Nepal stay in this game, taking wickets.
नहीं
He
नहीं
scratched around at the start, Baresi started to find his confidence.
ये को नंबर है
And,
सीवा कर दे
in the
डब्ल्यू
end,
पर
it
सीवा
was a
नाम
good contribution, 36. It is the third wicket
डब्ल्यू
to
पर सीवा
fall.
नाम कर दे
93
उधर
for
आमन
6
पर
now.
डब्ल्यू पर
Is that Nepal's way into this Netherlands lineup?
Well, there'll be a feeling back in Kathmandu, back in Butwal, in Barawa, down in the beautiful Lumbini province, there'll be a feeling we get Edwards, we can win this game. That's what the Nepal fans will be saying, because there is a soft underbelly to this team, however you look at it. In terms of their batting depth, Zach Lyon Cachet's had a good start to his international career, but after this, it's just Tejan Idamanoru and Noah Kroos as recognised batters. Kyle Klein is very, very high at number 8. And Merva has experience, certainly at 9. And it's just Aryan Dutt and Paul van Meekeren left. So if Nepal could get Edwards before the sort of 140, 150 marker, could well be game on here. The Dutch will have to do it in a different manner. You saw the celebrations there, though, Mel. They were big, weren't they? Just from the crowd, the fans are sparking the players' emotions, the players getting right into it too. Here's Lion Cachet. It's again, Rajbanchi's just twirling away, working his magic. He's a real technician, isn't he? He's gorgeous to watch, the way in which he bowls. If you wear the belt, if you will, as the primary left-arm spinner in the country in Nepal, I'll tell you something, you're a hell of a bowler, because they literally breed them for fun over there. It would have been 13, 14, maybe 15 domestic left-arm spinners we saw in the Nepal Premier League. And all of them incredibly capable, and I don't think many of them would have looked out of place in international cricket. So for Rajbanchi to be the pick of the bunch by quite a distance now, it shows how good he is.
Well, you look at his economy rate today. They've paid him a lot of respect. They haven't been able to get him away. That wicket is just reward for a fine spell of bowling.
Picked up and picks the gap. Great use of the crease from Scott Edwards. He's so good against spin. That wasn't that short at all. But he goes so deep in his crease, and he knows that the only man out in the deep is deep backward square. So he's happy just to stand there and pick his spot, and pick it he did.
Yeah, just spoiling Rajbanchi's figures a little, but they are still very good. Wicket and 5 runs off the over, 21 gone, and that has brought up the Netherlands 100. They are 101 for 3 after 21.
A great recognition of length. That's what you want to do as a batter. Good batters against spin. Recognise the length and then implement the stroke and see how it works. Bertel's going to be taken off after just the 1 over. Sandeep Lavachani will come back in. I think that's because of the new batter as much as anything that Bertel has done wrong. Being much more proactive today, isn't he, Rohit Powdell? You suspect that would be no surprise that's a Stuart Law conversation at the end, reviewing that game 2 days ago and saying, look, we went a bit samey at the end. You've got to be proactive with your decisions.
Head off for another quick single. And this is, well, that's actually forced a little misfield from Lalit, and this is what we saw Nepal do so well against Scotland. They forced the fielding errors. Yeah, I wonder too, that's also the fact that they're defending now. He's making the changes as a captain who's defending a total rather than bowling first. He knows that he's got to be proactive because they've probably not got enough runs on the board to be able to defend comfortably, and they're going to have to really pull something special out.
Googly out of the back of the hand. Has he got his man? Oh, yes, he has again. What a delivery from Sandeep Lamachani. It's the wicked Googly. I don't think Lion Cachet's picked it. I think it's probably going to crash into leg stump. As soon as it came out of the hand, you knew it was the wrong one. It's easy to pick from behind where we're looking from, not when you're facing it. And Lion Cachet has to go. He's trapped LBW for 2. Nepal are up, thereabout. Are they on top?
Well, they're certainly not out of this game. Don't go anywhere, because with the wickets of Lion Cachet departing for 2, all of a sudden this game opening up again. And also credit to the captain Rohit Paudel for those bowling changes. Saw Lion Cachet come to the crease. He brought on his wicket-taking leg spinner, and Lamachani said, "I'll have one of those, thank you."
Just trying to get you a replay of that. For me, I'm getting a look back on my ICC TV screen. I think that one, this is the reverse angle, but you can see there, that's the Googly, and that's why he's not picked that.
Oh, Sandeep knew. He knew straight away. He had absolutely no doubts. And look at the smile on his face now.
If you want to go back, you can flick back on ICC TV. Use that little toggle back and forth 10 seconds. Oh, it's turned sharply again, hasn't it? It's flirting with leg stump. Maybe just hitting leg stump. Tejan Minoru comes in to face the music. Lamachani pumped up. He's got 2. Nepal have 4. They get Edwards, they'll feel as though they'll have the game. Because I've said it before and time again, there is no real depth or consistent depth to this Dutch batting at the moment. There is no Logan van Beek, there is no Tim van der Hoogten, there is no Bas de Leede, there is no Colin Ackerman. It's a completely different side with those batters in there. Get Edwards. I think Nepal will feel as though they can win this match. It's a wicket taking over. Great change of bowling from Rohit Paudel. 22 have been bowled. 104 for 4.
Well, what an over from Lamachani. As we just have a look at the bowling for Nepal. There's 2 wickets there. Brilliant stuff. 2 for 23. Yadav, what a debut for him as well. Important first wicket. Raj Banchi in on the action as well. But I think he's done a fantastic job, Paudel, today of using and managing the bowlers that he has at his disposal.
And I think for me, I don't think he captained a particularly good first innings 2 days ago. I really don't. I very rarely critique Rohit Paudel, as I know how difficult it is to captain a nation like Nepal, where the players are so young, so many inexperienced players still. Maybe not inexperienced in terms of number of games, but just age. They're still very young men, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 of the squad. They did wonderfully well to very nearly pull off a miracle win that game. But the reality is they're going to take on Dipendra Singh. I redirect hit, I think, was out. And even if Anil Shah could have gathered this throw, was Edwards struggling? He does it so quickly, Iria. I think Shah was surprised by the throw, and it was so quick and flat, the throw. Direct hit. Don't think we have the side on replay because there's either a fan or a player in the way of the camera.
Either way, it was close. And you've got to be brave to take on the arm of Irie. And that is now, I reckon, the 5th time we've said a direct hit would have been gone.
I think it's some Nepal fans getting a bit keen. As that one swept around the corner. Should be at least a couple, as Edwards is more than quick enough to get back. Lamachani himself does the fielding. there's a chaos kicked in there. Gone into the pressure cooker this game, and all of a sudden we're back to classic League 2 action and classic vintage Nepal cricket. It's chaotic, it's manic. You cannot take your eyes off it. It's unmanageably entertaining in basically every way. Oh, beauty. This pitch is starting to turn.
Yep.
And Scott Edwards, remember, he won the toss. He chose to bowl first. He knew there was a spin-packed Nepal 11.
It's really turned. And some good bounce as well. Well, I did decide to bowl first this morning, but we did say that was the time when you were going to get the most assistance with the ball. So, and it was going to be the best time to bat this afternoon. So, I mean, I completely understand. A lot of logic to what Edwards decided. The problem is, probably chasing 237, not expecting to be 4 down.
End of the 23rd, 108 for 4. Yeah, there's a maniacal nature to this chase all of a sudden. It's almost as though Nepal have dragged the Netherlands into the madness, into the chaos, into the mire, if you will.
They have a habit of doing that. They were doing it to Scotland when they were batting and Scotland were in the field. They did that, but sheerly through their running between the wickets. And now they're doing it, I think, with a combination of really good fielding or keeping the pressure on at least, and then just chipping in with those wickets. Lamachani's back.
Edwards has a habit of going deep in the crease. Keep your eyes on Lamachani. It's a matter of time before the Google comes out here. The wrong the one out of the back of the hand. He has a couple of different ones as well. He's got a very obvious one that turns very sharply, but he's got one that's a little bit more of a top spinner. It will still go, but it will just be the wrist coming over the top of the release point as opposed to fully out of the back of the hand. And he has good control of both of them. Look at the way it's drifting viciously out of the hand. This is a completely different Sandeep Lamachani to the one we saw 2 days ago. Very encouraging for him and for Nepal.
Yeah, mentioned difficult day for him a couple of days ago against Scotland. But there were horrible conditions for a wrist spinner.
A little bit too full as Edwards drives. Flowing lead for a couple. Karen Casey does work right in front of the scoreboard on the far side. You do just sense it's Edwards or bust here for the Netherlands. Not to take away from Nidamanoru and Kroos, but if they get Edwards now, can the Dutch even still win this game? Or will they still win this game?
Yeah, it's a good question, Lenny. You do feel that there's a huge amount resting on the captain's shoulders right now.
Oh, big appeal. Umpire unmoved. I think this one is just drifting down, Mel, is it? It was the leg break. That's what Lamachani's indicating too. Given his leg buys, no bat involved. It's drifted a long way. It's probably pitched. Oh, I tell you, that's close. That is really close again.
A couple of these decisions, I mean, it's a tough work for the umpire. A tough day being an umpire today.
I think on the balance of things, I think not out's probably the right call there, but I'll tell you, as a leg spinner, I'd have been going up for that. Googly, not picked necessarily. Nidamanoru checks his shots. All happening out there. You cannot take your eyes off it. Nidamanoru also starts very slowly, or has a habit of starting very slowly. That will allow Nepal just to build up pressure on him. It's a good over, isn't it? An excellent over, a probing over from Sandeep Lamachani, who looks very much back to his best out there. He's got 2 for 25. 24 overs have been bowled. It's 111 for 4.
We wondered if it was going to be his day. So far, it's been a pretty good afternoon's work for Lamachani. And it's not just the 2 wickets he's taken,
That's
it's
a
the constant
अच्छा
threat
56 पे
that
आकर
is in the
26
air whenever he's got the ball in his hand.
संदीप ने
We
उसको
could
गिराया
have
जाए तो
another
कुला के
change
पिटाया
again.
बराबर है यार
Rohit Powdell ringing in the changes.
भूतल भगवान
Interesting
अब
move
ये
this
सब
one,
इसका
and
छक्का
again we were a bit critical, weren't we, in terms of Powdell's decision not to bring KC back for a second spell till the, what was it, the 42nd, 43rd over, I think. So he'd bowled an immaculate first spell of 5 overs, 2 for 12, and then he was brought back at a time where he couldn't actually complete his allocation, and he got taken apart in the latter stages of that game just 2 days ago here against Scotland. Ended up with the figures of 2 for 74. And that was from 9 overs, not from 10 mil. So his last 4 overs, well, he just went the absolute distance. They've gone for 62.
That was
his last 4 overs.
That was the Leask explosion, wasn't it?
As a consequence, Leask was able to line him up because he used to bowl 4 on the bounce. So good learnings here from Rohit Powdell. However this change goes, he's much more proactive today. And also, I think with the variety that he has in his attack, you know, you've definitely got the ability to just rotate it around. I'd love to see Dipender Singh Ari be given a bowl as well. He's yet to bowl. Now, there's no left-handers in the team, so he might not. Just pulled and pulled with great conviction and pulled away for 4. Edwards getting down the track aggressively towards Karen Casey and just helping himself.
Yeah, he's played that beautifully, and it's wide open space out there as well. That just really does release a little bit of pressure. Just picked it up early, helped it on its way.
Means the man at deep backward square will go out. Mid-off and mid-on stay up in the circle. Bit of a loosener, wasn't it, into his second spell from the broad-shouldered Hulk that he is, Karen Casey. One slip in place. Good delivery, just tailed back in. Sharkey does the fielding. It's been an incredible game of cricket again. Even if the Dutch start to put a partnership together and chase this comfortably, there's been so much to talk about, Mel.
Hasn't there what? We knew that there were going to be a few twists and turns in this chase, Lenny, and that it was going to have a bit of spice and a bit of feeling. We have not been let down by any means. Just at the moment, first couple of balls, having pace back on, I think they're enjoying it. Been through the ringer with the spinners, particularly Lamachani. Lalit Rajbanshi has given very, very little away.
Captain and vice captain having a discussion. Wonder is Dipender Singh Ari saying, I might not be a bad option here at some point. Again, it's just you talk about that kind of dragging the Netherlands into a bit of chaos. The way in which he does things when he bowls, and particularly off his own bowling. Could he tempt Edwards into a sweep shot that, you know, he's a very difficult to sweep bowler because of his trajectory, because of his height. Everything's so low. I think Irie might be a good shout here. Thought he bowled very well against Scotland.
Yeah, he did, no doubt. And we were surprised not to see him bowl earlier as well. The earlier game.
He was probably the pick of the attack, wasn't he? I know Rajbanshi bowled well, 1 for 41, but Irie's 2 for 37. And he got left behind, didn't he, with three left. Apparently, I made the point so many times about Dipender Singh Ari surely being the one to turn to at the death. There was a couple of memes floating around that I saw. Andrew Leonard continuing to talk about why Dipender Singh Ari should be used at the death, and then kind of various things put together with it. I do love the passion. There's a great one. I do give them a shout out occasionally. Once or twice they've gone too far, not with regards to me. You can say anything you want about me, but the Troll Cricket Nepal team are usually good for a laugh. And, well, actually, speaking of them, the first thing that comes up in my feed, this is Nepal's first LBW wicket on Scotland with the screenshot of Sandy Flamachani's LBW that he got in his favour. He's got 2 now. But yeah, they do make me chuckle. Those boys, they usually get it. They cover the game religiously as well. Occasionally, they just push the envelope though a touch.
We've reached the halfway mark at the moment. Netherlands 116 for 4. Pretty much halfway to the target of 237, but they've lost 4 wickets.
उधर मतलब वाले कर देगा और गए जो मस्त वाले का हमारे का पिच क्या सारे की और को बहुत से विकेट पा जाला सर रन दे सकता है 5 रन 4 ना जा भाई करी मर दे
Crucial Bertel was just showing Mel a few of the memes of flying for a while. Most of them unrepeatable.
4.7 मिनट के
My cheeks. They are.
Good fun. Here's Bertel with his leg breaks.
Oi.
First sweep attempted. It's bounced. That's not a chance. He's hit that into the ground. Has come up to Arif Sheikh. A few of the fans, I think, thought it was a crowd catch for a moment.
Well, it was a crowd catch. It just wasn't a catch.
Bump पड़ गया
Might have to mute Mel's mic as I'm showing a few more of the troll Nepal memes. The thing that I like, obviously anything on social media, you need to take these things with a pinch of salt, and everyone, from a playing perspective, uses it in different ways. Some of the players are very active, like a Sampal Kami or a Sandy Plamachani, and others really do close to no posting. As good backing up will make sure that that's just the one run. As Nidamanoru ends up sprawls on the turf, as does anyone who runs a single to defenders, saying, surely this wouldn't have been out. Oh, I tell you, it would have been gone. Another one.
If Scott Edwards doesn't have a massive rash all the way down his chest and stomach after this.
No, that's Nidamanoru.
Oh, is that one is? Pardon me.
And he was slow off the mark, and Edwards was the one who called him through for the single. He's put his partners in
all of
ridiculous
them.
positions.
They've all ended up flat on their stomachs.
And for all of Irie's brilliance in the field and the speed of which he's doing things, he's not even getting close with those direct hits. Accuracy needs work. That is driven wide of a diving Irie. Going to take on the second, and Edwards will get home comfortably.
I'm sure you're going to ask about the running between the wickets when.
I will be. There's got to be a run out here, doesn't there? Before the day is done.
Goodness.
You can just sense it's coming. And the problem here for Nidamanoru is Edwards is very quick. He's not quite Irie quick, whatever he says, but he's very quick. Whereas Nidamanoru, it's a little bit of a hare and tortoise situation out there. He's not particularly fast between the wickets. So they have to be careful. That's a nice drive, though. That'll wrap up a 4-run over. 26 bowled, 120 for 4. But yeah, sort of all the players use social media in different ways. Some are very active, some don't post it at all. I've seen Sampal Kami starting to do some vlogs, just wandering around the streets of various parts of this tour. Sadly, it was all in Nepali, so I didn't understand, but apparently there was hilarity laced throughout it. And then other players either don't post at all, or they have quite a few of the Nepal players of management now, and they'll just have their manager post their commercial things, and they won't do much on there. But I would definitely get across the message to fans that, do be kind, always be kind. I know that tempers can get flared, and at the end of the day, it is just sport. It's a joyous part of life, and that's what it should remain.
And also, the players aren't ever not trying. and they're never not working hard or
Spot on.
doing their best. That's the thing. It's just there are times in sport when it goes wrong for you, or you make mistakes, or you have a brain fade, or whatever it is, and that's just life. Who amongst us hasn't?
Pulled and pulled very convincingly. Just the one bounce, going to race for 4. Not too sure about this KC option. Looks like the spinners are looking much more threatening to both Nidamanoro and Edwards, even though Edwards is such a good player of spin. And that was just a bit too easy set up to be hit.
Yeah, it did. It really sat up, and it was angling back in as well, so he was basically just helping it on its way. And did so, but yes, this is the first bowling change you felt that hasn't really worked for Powdell.
इसलिए दुई गिना रखे हैं यार कदे बहरा जाता है कम माइक्रो टप की बात
Just someone having to go and collect the ball. I tell you what, I don't think we've lost. Maybe we'd have lost one ball, but they've done very well at finding them, because there have been quite a few that have gone over fences and into backyards and on roofs and all sorts of places.
Speaking of positive messages, let's read you one, Mel. This comes in on Instagram. Achut Bata, who's watching on from Adelaide in Australia. He says, just a quick message. Hi Lenny, hope you're doing well. I'm staying up all night to watch my country play, and then I'm going to still wake up at 6 o'clock for work. That's the passion for this nation and the beautiful game of cricket. Associate cricket at its finest here today. Go Rhinos, says Achut from Adelaide, Australia. Lovely to hear from you, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the action. And I hope our dulcet tones aren't putting you to sleep. I hope that they're keeping you awake and enjoying the contest. If you do want to get in touch, if you've any thoughts on the game or who's going to win this, lots of messages about no balls and umpiring decisions that I'm not going to read out. But do just tell us where you're watching from on ICC TV. You can use that hashtag CWCL2 or get in touch directly with me, Andrew Leonard, at Cricket Badge. My co-commentator is Melinda Farrell, at Melinda Farrell. There is lots of talk about the big announcement coming up tomorrow. That's a personal announcement of my end, just to make any clarity, some confusion. Some think it's Nepal versus Ireland series or something like that being announced. There is no announcement of that kind, but I'll have a little personal announcement tomorrow. Keep your eyes on social media for that. Bipin Ariel says, Sandeep and Lalit, it's like Murali and Harat from the Associates. I don't think Lalit Rajbanshi looks like Rangana Harat.
Yeah, which one's which?
Well, no, he's given it an order.
Yes.
Whereas Basanta Regmi definitely looked like Rangana Harath. No doubt about that. Sujal says, hi Lenny, you do know that Nepal is more than just Kathmandu and Pokhara and the Terai region. I do, yes.
Hey, a big shout out for Beergunj. That's where I've been.
Well, I can't read out every city, but I can give it a try. The likes of Baratpur and Itahari and Dankuta, Dharan, Nepal Gunj, of course. Janakpur, gorgeous place is Janakpur. It's where the Bolts are from, the inaugural winners of the Nepal Premier League. Can give a shout out to the likes Bimdata, Garari, Dulakil, Bermatod, Kolhapur, Bidur, Kalia. Another mix-up, another half-run-out chance, and they won't get it. Nepal is separated into 7 provinces, and each of those 7 provinces was represented in that inaugural Nepal Premier League. Bagmati and Daki Karnali. Koshi, Lumbini and Madesh was a huge amount of cricket, and then the hugely popular Sudar Pashim side that was represented by the Royals. But there's also 77 districts, Mel. And from my understanding, despite the incredibly mountainous nature of some of them, there's cricket now spread to well over 30, maybe even over 40 of those districts. But simply parts of the country are so mountainous, you could barely cut a proper cricket field into it. Now that doesn't stop people playing the likes of gully cricket and cricket in and around the rural regions, but yeah, that's why historically volleyball has been the national sport, because it's much easier to cut a little volleyball court into a hill than it is a full cricket oval. Break and play here. Scotty Edwards is going to have to tie his own shoelace. Is that because none of the Nepal players will?
Wow.
Given the little bit of feistiness that we've had in today's contest.
Wow.
And look who's walking by. Bashir Ahmed right on cue. I don't think Bashir's going to be offering to tie Scotty Edwards today.
Yeah, I mean, I realised how mountainous it was because as I was flying in from Australia and I stopped in China and made my way, and I'm just going to hand Andrew Leonard a photo that I took from the window of my aeroplane that has Mount Everest perfectly positioned in the middle.
If you are lucky enough to get a day flight into Kathmandu, approaching from the European end, it'll be on your left-hand side, the full peaks. It is, particularly if you're just coming out of a winter where there's been a bit of snow, where you sometimes get, although the majority of the rain is usually in the monsoon season in the summer, you can get these utterly incredible views. I was lucky enough to once come through there during COVID when it was very, very clear, but there was the perfect layer of cloud melt, and we were above the cloud, but beneath it was, let's say the cloud was at about 4,000, 5,000 meters, and it was like flying, although the mountains were down beneath us, it was like flying through a sea with iceberg caps. And luckily enough I had a window seat that day, and the last hour of that approach, some of it comes through Pakistan as well as you approach, and the flights that come up from Qatar and Dubai, which are a couple of the main transit hubs up. It is breathtaking, utterly breathtaking.
Well, I didn't have a window seat on that side, but it was the kind of flight where everyone was so nice and people kept swapping seats so that everybody actually had a chance to take the photo that I've taken.
Bertel's slip has come out. It is a run-out chance again, and the throw just had no power. I'm not sure the throw went to the same end. Teja Nidaminoru ends in the same position, sprawled across the turf.
I told you they're going to have a rash on their bellies, every single one of these Netherlands players, because they have spent so much time face down on the turf. He would have been safe, but it took the dive to ensure it. Well, he was safe. It was always going to be safe, even, I think, with a direct hit.
It just wasn't a powerful enough throw. I think he's got no balance at all as he throws it, but just watch the running between the wickets here. Again, it's the problem. Nidaminoru is not as quick as Edwards, and it's another stumble and stutter step. Back live with you now. Slip does go back in, chipped, and just out of reach to the right. And more maniacal running. What is going on out there? It's chaos. Every ball, it's chaos.
It's incredible how Nepal are able to bring teams into their world.
It was a perfect catchable height, wasn't it? Just to the right, very wide of Dipender Singh Airi. Would never have been able to get there. Reverse sweep. Is there an edge? Anil Shah is interested, but I think Edwards has hit the ground here. If anything, didn't look like there was any deviation off the bat.
Just take another look. You can see that there was a half-hearted appeal. It wasn't full-throated.
Beauty. He's a very talented bowler, Kushal Bertel, particularly for a part-timer. 28 have been bowled, 128 for 4. You see the drift and dip here, and then the lovely turn away. You would quite like to see the slip in. Look at that, beautifully bowled.
विशाल 1.9 की वाचिंग यूट्यूब हाँ ई का देखो अब बताएगा देखत रहा
Lalit Rajbanshi returns. I think this is a good move. I think Karen KC was looking a little ineffectual in his third spell.
It's the only bowling attack that hasn't stuck, either with a wicket or a real squeeze.
I'll tell you something that Nepal can do here as well. You might think I'm crazy. They can bring this scoreboard into play purely because of the amount of overs of spin that have to be bowled, and the fact that no one, even Edwards, isn't scoring that fluently often. So it's just under 100 required. They've got the best part of more than 20 overs to do it. Sorry, it's actually over 100 required. I'm thinking 227 is the target because the 10 penalty runs, but 10 penalty runs are built in. Pardon me, but it's about 5 and over now. But 6-7 tight overs, if they can do that, I think spinners are more capable of doing that. Oh, beauty. And it could become a case where all of a sudden, in the last 12 or 15, they need 7.5 and over with the ball spinning.
Well, here is another beauty.
Oh.
Look at that. Oh, they're really bowling well, the spinners today.
Oh, good hand. Really good hand from Lalit Rajbanshi. He's done nothing wrong there either. More than entitled to dive his line. Collides with Edwards.
I think there was just a little pat on the head from Edwards as well. The other thing is with the spinners, they get through the overs so quickly that all of a sudden you look up and another 5 overs have gone past. And the score hasn't progressed that far.
Mix of opinion. I think Irie and Powdell said, let's drop long off back. Rajbanshi said, no, keep him up. Pressure growing. Oh, just shy of Rajbanshi. Dot balls always build pressure, whatever the situation. And Nida Minoru, he's almost clinging on out there, isn't he?
Well, he doesn't look particularly comfortable. He's been run ragged a bit.
Won't be a maiden. He'll keep the strike. That might not be the worst result for Nepal. 1 run from Rajbanshi's return. It's 129 for 4.
So that is another bowling change that's worked wonders for Rohit Powdell. He's done that particularly well today. As we have a look at the bowlers used. That's the right one. There it is. The bowlers used, so he's only used 5, but it's the way he's brought them on for short, sharp spells. And each time he has, with the exception of Karen Casey's last couple of overs, it's felt like exactly the right decision at the right moment.
And this is potentially, Mel, where now Powdell needs to think, I've got about 20 overs left after this one. I need to get a 6th bowler in. I need to give myself that flexibility. He's got 3 other spin bowling options.
Time for Irie.
He's got Dipender Singh Irie. He's got Bashir Ahmed, who's more of a capable holding left-arm spinner. He's not really a threatening wicket-taking one. And then he's got himself as an off-spinner. I would think Irie is the most likely. Down the leg side, be given as a wide. He could also bowl Arif Sheikh some medium pace. So he's actually got 4 other bowling options. It's only Anil Shah with the gloves on and Bim Sharkey, who definitely won't bowl. But I would think it's Irie time. Particularly I think he could generate a wicket-taking opportunity against Edwards, because Edwards is going to sweep him. And people don't sweep Irie very well. The ball doesn't bounce as much. It's speared in. He's a flat off spinner. Nida Minoru's all at sea out there against whichever spinner is bowling. Well, that's going to help him, because that was a rare drag down. Gets away with it. Probably should have been put away, but will only be a single.
Well, you certainly think it's not much of a gamble to bring on Irie for a couple of overs to see how he fares either.
Shariz Ahmed probably looking on as the reverse hit comes out, but straight to Artie Shake, he's probably watching on saying, why didn't I get a bowl on this surface? It's turning square. Don't think he played a single one of the ODIs. It's 9 games, or 8 games, excuse me, that he's sat out for now for the Netherlands. He should get his go in the T20s, you'd imagine. Good little leg spinner, Shariz Ahmed. Bowls lots of googlies. Huge number of googlies. Fans just causing a few problems with the side screen. Scotty Edwards has kind of been at the heart of everything today. And I go back to the point I keep making, is that required run rate is growing, Mel. That if Scotland are, or excuse me, Netherlands are going to win, it's going to be Scott Edwards who'll have to be there and do the bulk of the heavy lifting. Still more than 100 required. Good stop from Bim Sharkey. There's always a single there. 30 have been bowled, 132 for 4.
Is another very tight over. This is what they've just, apart from Karen Casey coming back in and being a little bit expensive in a couple of overs, I've just found it so difficult. You saw there, so Dowdy went early, and Michael Levitt and Wes Baresi, they hung around for a while, made the starts. Scott Edwards, though, you feel out there at the moment, that is the key, because you look what's to come after, and there's not a lot in out-and-out batting.
Still no sign of a 6th bowler. Powell's happy to trundle away with the 5 that he's used. Bowled him, and Edwards falls to the sweep. How heavily does that swing the game towards Nepal? And keeping Rajbanshi on has worked. He gets further reward for his consistency. Can Nepal seize upon this advantage? Or are they now ahead of the game, Mel?
That is a huge wicket. That does tip things the way of Nepal, I feel, because Scott Edwards, the captain, their best player of spin, the spine of the team, he departs for 30. And now, well, they've lost half their wickets. They're still a long way from the target. Netherlands, 132 for 5.
It's that one-handed sweep that he plays really well. Hasn't bounced. He's just kept low. He's exposed his stumps, and Rajbanshi, there's not too many more consistent players than him. It's come around his legs, in behind him. It's the drift as much as anything that's got him, but then the fact it hasn't really bounced. Just come a little bit wider of the crease this time. If you look here, not quite as wide as Mark Watt. Drift in, and then maybe a flick of the pad. It's not the greatest shot, to be honest, from Scott Edwards, but Rajbanshi gets the reward for his consistency and his economy. He's so accurate, isn't he, as Noah Cross comes to the crease.
Still wonder how he was left out of that first match. He's certainly proved his worth today. This game is on like Donkey Kong.
It's on a knife edge now. It really is. I think, if anything, Nepal are ahead of the game. The reason why, it's their spinners. We said they'd pose the threat today. We're in mid-June in Dundee, in what's been frigid conditions throughout much of the series. The best day of the 5 thus far, but it's the 3rd use of this pitch, and it's the 6th innings on it. And it is definitely starting to wear and tear. Just the accuracy has been, well, exemplary, isn't it, from Rajbanshi in particular?
Well, from Rajbanshi, from all of them, really. And I do just love the way, I know I've said it a few times, but how Rohit Powdell has not allowed them to settle and kept rotating all the resources he has at his disposal.
Lovely to watch. You talk about batters who are technicians. There's bowlers who are as well. It's such a calculated and consistent approach. Every single element of it is so repeatable, and those who face him say that he's very difficult to get away. It's now his 40th ODI wicket today. It's almost like a bowling machine, isn't it? It's again and again and again.
Metronomic.
His 46th ODI wicket, correction. Economy rate in his career, 3.8.
That's astonishing. really is.
Fantastic numbers. So wicket made in 31 bowled, 132 for 5. Here's another good stat for you, Mel. He's got more wickets than he has ODI runs. 46 wickets and he's 38 runs. Nepal would love if that was 40, because then they'd have had a super over
Oh, yes, they would.
the other day.
Of course, he was right in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it in that second game against Scotland.
Doesn't add much with the bats or in the field, but when you bowl like he does, he's for me, he's a banker on the team sheet, whatever the conditions, even here in Dundee, early in the series. I think by immediate admission from Stuart Lloyd, they didn't pick the right team on day one. Now, they still won the game, so they won't argue too much, but they probably misread the conditions a touch, didn't think that spin would be quite as effective. As here comes another proactive piece of captaincy. Sandeep Lamachani back into the attack, and Rohit Powell might be saying, I don't need to bowl a six bowler, I'm going to bowl the Netherlands out here. And again, it's getting the X factor, the wrist spin back on to the new man. Kroos likes to sweep, but Nida Minoru will have to face up first. He'll get a single, won't be time for a second. Can the Dutch plot away home from here?
It's becoming harder, isn't it? Because you're right about that scoreboard pressure, but the thing at the moment is it's not just scoreboard pressure, it's wickets. It's the wickets column. Down 5, and their best player of spin back in the pavilion. And we've seen that run rate required slowly drag its way up from 4.5 to 5.5. Theoretically, you could say, well, just knock it about a bit, maybe wait for a bad ball to put away, but it's not that easy. It's not even easy knocking it around for a single. Not hitting the gaps for twos.
It's the most brilliant message from Puttin Paryag on Instagram. As Scott Edwards was gone, I shout out loud and my child started crying. I'm a mother of 3 kids, I let them sleep. But I had to scream when we got that wicket. There's a googly, it turns into a full toss, helped into the offside. Absolutely love that one. Great to hear from you, Pun, and amazing support as always. Across, right the way across Nepal, including all the different corners of it, not just the Kathmandu Valley. Ashish Sharma watching on from Parabat. He's asking how many matches will each team play? Slog sweep comes out just enough over the head of Bashir Ahmed. As Nandan Yadav does the fielding, gets warmly applauded. I think it was always just out of reach, wasn't it? Critical position, that mid-wicket for all leg spinners. Back live now, just short of they've been brought into the madness, haven't they, the Netherlands?
Like I said, they've been Nepal have dragged them into their world. You know, that thing, this is our world, you're just living in it. And that is kind of what they've done.
I'm telling you now, the scoreboard's going to come into play rapidly. You might think that it will be the wickets column, but the wickets column will be affected because of the wickets and the pressure. And it's Lamachani again. He is pumped up. Nida Minoru just never got settled out there. Rohit Powell takes the catch. What a day he's having as captain. Everything he touches turns to gold. It's the 4th, if not the 5th bowling change that he's made that's immediately resulted in a wicket. And the Netherlands, well, they're in deep trouble now. 6 down.
Huge trouble. It was an easy catch in the end. But there's been no chance for any kind of rebuild. They keep chipping in. They can't settle. The bowlers keep rotating. And it's Lamachani once more taking his 3rd wicket. Nida Minoru departs for 17. And Netherlands 136 for 6 in all sorts of trouble.
The Umpires have said enough's enough.
वाह
Let's go and have a
इसमें
drinks
3
break.
विकेट लीज बेटा हुआ
Time for a break here too in the commentary box. It's 32 overs bowled. Nepal, well, they're turning it all around yet again. It's 136 for 6.
एक चुपान रहा होता तो फिर बस शुरू हो गई
उल्टा तो हमें काला मार के कार कितने कितना तेज है भैया ने अपने काम करना है फिर करो चाहे काला मार के गांव में हट चाहे बुढ़े कहां तो नहीं कहां बुढ़े चाहे कहां
बुढ़ा अक्सर खा नहीं
बाहर बिताइले हां बाहर बिताइले है ओकरे को थोड़ के फाड़ जाई ओकरे से काम के जीवन ओकरे से विवेक
Okay,
दूसरा नहीं तो बिना काम को सरकारी काम करे वाला घर जाने ये
this is to switch it on.
घर जाना हर एक काम अपने करा ओकरे को काम बहुत खतरा काम है
So, welcome back after the second drinks break. We've seen, well, a remarkable turnaround. The cardiac kids, as they're so fondly known, are at it again, raising the pulses not just across the nation but across the world in this fantastic ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2 that just continues to absolutely captivate us in every capacity. The new man to the crease is Kyle Klein, who has never really batted this high at number 8 until this series of ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. He very much looks a bit high for my liking. We've got a guest commentator who's going to come in and join us in just a moment as well. Mel Farrell's having a short break. Andrew Leonard here with you. We have seen such a good game of cricket yet again. It really is. And it's absolutely fantastic. Great to have the guest commentator in with me now. I've got Paras Katka, the current secretary of the Cricket Association of Nepal, the former national team captain who has come over to the United Kingdom, not just for this tour, but it was also down at MCC World Cricket Connects. Paras Dai, great to have you with us. Very good afternoon to you. You're witnessing another classic game here.
Well, thanks, Lenny. Just incredible. The last 5-6 overs, the kind of pressure that's been built around Lalit's bowling exceptionally well. This is his last over, and you can sense it the way the boys have been fielding, that there's pressure that's been built. I think the captainship today has been fantastic, where there's been pressure all throughout. There has not been an easy single. We knew that with a bit of sun in, the spinners would play a role, and how good have the spinners turned up today?
Yeah, they really have. Just the two kind of out-and-out seam options for Nepal today. We've seen Karen Casey in the ODI debutant. Nandan Yadav come into the team as Klein gets off the mark with a quick single. Nepal's fielding's always been good. That's brought it underneath 100, but the Netherlands have a lot of work to do. Paris, you'd look at this series, you know the associate game as well as anyone, having played it for so long and now leading the way on things for the board there alongside all of the board in the Cricket Association of Nepal. You knew how tough this series was going to be.
हमारे पापा को मर दे तो नहीं हो इस पूरा जब से
Going away to European conditions for any Asian side, but for Nepal who haven't played much ODI cricket because they've had a bit, I think it was a 7-month break against two of the best associates that there are. Did you feel as though you could come and play as well as you have? You may make it 3 wins from 4.
See, the thing is, right now at associate cricket at the ODI level, it's not how like it used to be where you travel and then the home team would have an advantage. We saw what Namibia, Netherlands did when they came to Nepal, and now you see Nepal coming to this part of the world. It's never been easy, but having said that, you got to play good cricket. Being an ODI country, if you want to establish yourself right now, I would say the game is at a level where each team is so competitive. You've got such great competition, such good players around. And the cricket that we've seen over the last week or so, that's just been some of the best form of ODI cricket that there's ever been. And you look at this game as well, 2 teams fighting against each other. And for Nepal, I mean, we had almost 10, 12 days of preparation leading up to this tournament. We knew conditions would be different. But having said that, the boys have put in the yards, and it all comes down to performing when it matters, and so far it's been great.
Swept around the corner by Kyle Klein, gets a nice piece of it, should pick up a couple. Noah Kroos very capable as well. These two and Roelof van der Merwe will have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Don't rule out another twister turn or two. How good were the 2 games against Scotland? You came out on top in one and on the reverse side in the other, but they were 2 all-time classics.
You could watch it, could you? I was on the screen and I keep repeating the same thing. It was easier playing than watching it, and I can imagine how it must have been over the years being a Nepali cricket fan. We've been called the cardiac kids, and it's never been easy, has it? Nepal cricket over the years, from Asian Cricket Council tournaments to the ICC, from Division 5 to ODI status to World Cups, we just seem to take it to the last ball.
Do you really feel that it was easier playing than it was watching?
Honestly. Why? Because when you're playing, things are in your control. When you're watching it, you can only shout like, I'm by the boundary side and I can sense the fact that, come on, Sandeep, get that wicket, or Lalit, or Nandan, or Karan.
Swept, really well swept. And a good stop from Karan KC. The ground fielding's been excellent today for Nepal. What is it then about cricket in Nepal? There's such a fervour and an enthusiasm for it there. Is it kind of almost over-exuberance sometimes that adds to that bit of chaos that we see?
This passion for sure. What has happened over the last 10, 15 years would be the number of people following the game has increased drastically. It also means that now our fans need to be a bit patient. When you read social media, when we win, everything looks great, where, people are praising the players and all of that. But all of a sudden, a couple of bad days on the field, or when you don't perform well, there's this huge social outcry of what it should be, what it shouldn't be. On the bright side of it, we see that when there's so much of engagement, means that the fans want us to win. It's almost like Nepal can't lose now.
But there's a lot of interest as a consequence, isn't there? I suppose would your message to some of the fans just be to be a little more patient and stay with the team in good times as well as bad?
Be patient, keep the cricket discussions on, and just be a bit lenient on our players is all I can say. Sometimes you just feel that with so much effort that the boys are putting in, it's not easy. It's not easy at any level, the kind of structure that the Cricket World League is right now. The teams could go on to, put in a lot of competition that's there, where each team fighting for those positions, each game carrying those vital 2 points, means that we really need to keep pushing ourselves every single game. As you see the scorecard.
Yeah, you can see the
right
points table here. Nandan Yadav's going to come back into the attack. You made some, and everyone involved in the Cricket Association of Nepal made some big statements at the start of last year, saying you don't just want to finish top 4, you want to try and win this league, you want to try and start to get to a position of what Afghanistan and Ireland did in sort of a decade ago in terms of dominating associate cricket. it's not an easy league. It's a very tough league. It wasn't the start you would have wanted in 2024. Just the 2 wins and then the 2 non-results in that first year. But with 2 wins, you could make it 3 here from this next series. You've lots of time to catch up, and you can still very much get into that
अरे
top 4
प्रेशर
picture.
बनाया है
So
भाई,
yes, you
विकेट
see the
मार दिया
points
ना तो
table,
कसम
it
से
pretty
कम हो
much
गई
matches with the fact that we played
ठंडा
the
काम
least
बड़ी
number of
सीधा तो
games
नंबर है
and then back into the attack. It just feels that it's going to be nervy until the end of the cycle. Why? Because you never know which teams are going to do well, and even as the tournament, the way it's placed as well. You know, you play at certain part of the year and then you wait for another 6 months and a half. It really doesn't mean that you're carrying momentum with you. All you're carrying is the preparation, the form of the players. Most of the associate players are now playing in different leagues. It also means for us, the whole idea is to become a strong cricketing nation, and for that we need to keep performing at this level. This points table right now, before the couple of wins, it really felt as if Nepal would find it difficult, but now that you have a couple of wins, and right now as you look at the scorecard with 144 for 6, 93 of 94, you still can't take it for granted. Why? Because we know that the kind of cricket the Dutch play and then played over the years, it has to finish off where they have to take those 10 wickets. If the team bats the whole 50 overs, it means the game could go very close. So the whole idea here is just to keep building on what we have right now. We need to build up better structure in terms of where we're getting our cricketers. As of now, a lot of potentially young cricketers out there. We've just started the under 16 nationals are going on, which is not live on TV. Imagine a 16-year-old watching himself on TV. I started as a 15-year-old where I had no idea. I used to get hold of a newspaper, do the paper cutting and keep it and put it on a scrapbook and say, this is how I played cricket and this is where, my bragging rights. But now things have started to change. There are a lot of investments coming in. The government's building its own stadium for the very first time. The TV is getting a facelift. So fantastic from Nandan. I think whenever he hits that length, it almost, it also becomes mandatory that he gets that perfect ball going through.
Real beauty here, just hitting that perfect back of a length. No real foot movement from Kyle Klein, just getting caught on the crease. Tell us about this young man. ODI debut, a maiden, no wickets, and he's really bowled with a good yard of pace. Stuart Law's told me he's been really impressed with him.
Stu's put in a lot of faith in him. Just that for him, he has to keep pushing himself. It's just his first game for his country at ODI level.
It's a great story though, isn't it? Because he's not the only one. There's been plenty of players head down to Australia over the years. Many haven't come back, and that's the reality of life and economic opportunities down in Australia where there's such a massive Nepalese community. But to get someone like him back who had good exposure down in grade cricket in Adelaide, I think it was, big boost.
Fantastic. For us, we found one more fast bowler that could run up and bowl with decent gas behind him. And most importantly, I think he's gone through that grind of understanding his own life, of making it difficult for himself at a personal level, but still fighting it through. And now here he is running up the hill at Dundee, bowling against the Dutch, and probably wants to win the game for Nepal from his remaining 4 overs.
35 bowled, 146 for 6. Andrew Leonard here alongside the Cricket Association of Nepal secretary and the former national team captain, face and a voice you'll all know so well back in Nepal in particular. That's the current state of play in this ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2 table. Paris, there's the makings of an we had a quite ludicrous finish, didn't we, to the first edition of the league. Famous scenes on, what was it, March 16th, as Nepal somehow beat the UAE on DLS by the barest of margins, a game that transcended really associate cricket and started to bring it into a wider audience. There's already a look that this is going to be incredibly tight-knit. Is the target a top 4 place and that's all you want, or are you even more ambitious than that, or just one game at a time? How do you look at it?
We still have a lot of matches remaining. All it comes down to is preparing yourself for that particular segment of the World Cricket League cycle. I keep repeating that because it's spread over a year. Like the kind of form that the team has shown in the last week, if they can continue this, it'll be fantastic. But what we have realized is there's a blueprint from the last 3 games of how we want to play our ODI cricket. And today we chased the first 3 games. Unfortunately, came short of 2 runs. Today we're defending a score. Arif came up with probably one of his best innings.
His highest ODI score.
He
Yeah.
held one innings together. A couple of guys, Rohit and Bheem, getting this 35 would have probably wanted to have converted, but it's just that the teams are now looking Nepal differently than how they used to. They just thought previously that you come to this part of the world and you run Nepal over, but it's not the team anymore. A lot of match winners, a lot of options, and today the kind of energy that we see on the field has made it that it's not going to be easy for whatever's remaining.
Another fantastic stop this time to Dipender Singh Irene.
Is it depending
Over there?
He's
Yeah.
all over, is he?
He's
Always.
absolutely ever. He's actually mainly been a cover.
He just chased
He's
himself.
just
I can
moved,
see
yeah, to backward point. Tell us about Sampal Kami. Really sad to hear such a heroic innings the other day. It's a minor fracture. He should be back in a few weeks, hopefully.
I spoke to him in the morning at breakfast, and he was showing me the video of how he got hit. It's just a nonchalant ball that hit him on his forearm. And sometimes with cricket, you face some of these fast bowlers where you get hit with certain parts of the body, nothing happens. But for him, unfortunately, there's been a bit of a fracture where he has to be now rested, and we'll take it up in the next 4 or 5 days of his recovery. Even Gulshan, a lot of fans were asking why he didn't bowl the other day. He has a knee thing where the physio and the medical team and coach and the support staff said that he probably feels better if he gets that rehabilitation. Gulshan is one of our premier young all-rounders, and we want to protect them.
Beautifully bowled, drift in and turn away. Every single person involved in cricket in Nepal adored Monty Desai for all he did for the nation. His contract wasn't renewed. A couple of words about his legacy, how important Monty Desai has been, and then the decision to get a new head coach in. You've gone the Australian way, you've gone with Stuart Law, who has that associate experience. There's another one beats the outside edge, 147 for 6. How did you end up with Stuart Law as your new man? So a couple of words on Monty first, mate.
Nepal cricket's been blessed with great coaches since Roy Dias took over the coaching back in 2001, 2 to where we are today. The kind of results that we have managed to attain over the years, it's not been easy, but with the right coaches, with that determination in the players. And of course, when you talk about Monty, he came in when we were in dire straits. We had to win at least 9 out of 12, and we managed to win 11 out of 12. We got into the World Cup. He's somebody who's put in a lot of faith in all of the youngsters that are currently performing. There were times when there were a lot of tests around certain players whether they would be in the squad, but what happened was backing of the players, obviously. At our level, we wanted him to continue, but again, it came down to a point where we got in ideas from different people in our cricket system of what our next cricket strategy should be, is what our aim should be. And we just decided that it was about time that we got hold of somebody, not that he wasn't efficient, but this game demands a lot of results. Sometimes it's cruel.
It's quite ruthless at this level, particularly the associate level.
Even with all of the good results, if you don't perform over a period of, let's say, 5-6 months, then all of a sudden you feel that you're at the back end of the points table as well as the whole cycle. So he's made a massive contribution to this team. And
is the biggest legacy left? Sorry to cut you off, but the way in which he brought that team together, Paris, and the kind of harmony and unison he brought to the dressing room after a period where things were a little fractured potentially.
it's all about the players and the coaches working together. Sometimes we read a lot of fragmented news that does not even make sense, but there are people around trying to create a negative side to every conversation, and I just feel one of the biggest strengths for Nepal cricket over a very long time has been the unity of the players, the coaches who have been part of our cricket system, and somehow we have come this far, and now with Stuart taking over, it just means
मेरे
he's
में
had a
जिसका
good
पता
start.
गाड़ी है
Just
जिनमें
going to
गंगा
look at
बनी
this
तो
one,
रात ठिकाना
Paris.
मर
There
दे
was half
तान
a
जा बाबू तो कैसे बाबू
thought
जाती
that
पे
it
का
might have
बुले
flicked
कहा
something of Noah
उनका
Kroos's
मूव
bat,
कह
but
दे ले
Would
मुझे
have
the
mattered.
immediate signal was wide from
Yeah.
David McLean, just as well. And
अरे
was
मर्दे
the
मैंने
keeper
बिजली का
coming in
पकड़ा ना
for
मैंने
Asif Sheikh
बता मैंने
today.
बिजली का पकड़
Yeah,
था
three
तो
changes
पापा
altogether
ने छुड़ा
for
पापा
Nepal,
जाके
including
दी
two
मुझे
forced by
जो
injury,
ये दिखाया
and
था
just
जो
one selectorial, Asif Sheikh having a rest being dropped out,
कोई को
and
गाड़ी
Daniel
देती वो ले
Sa
मन के
coming in.
बुक खोल
Yadav's impressed me, lots of pace on offer, but just losing his line. Pulled and pulled very firmly. It's going to go one bounce as the Dutch will certainly keep on fighting. I want to ask you, you're telling me more about Cyril in a second, but take me back to that first ever ODI series, one you played in. That was against the Dutch. There's great relations between these two countries.
For me, it was playing Netherlands was one of the challenge points of our careers, where they're one of the strongest teams, and we had to make a statement every time. Even if you go by the statistics of it, we've always come close whenever we played against them. That first ever ODI win against them in Amsterdam, and with drama attached to every cricket win that we talk about.
Just the one run that day.
And all that matters is that one particular run.
Isn't it just? Yeah, so the Stuart Law era is an era that, well, it's been funny, isn't it? Because for the amount of cricket Nepal play, I understand why it's the case, but the TU ground undergoing its renovations, so you didn't have your usual home season, kind of February, March, April, when you'd usually play a lot of home international cricket. So as a consequence, you had a quadrangular series out in Hong Kong, where you lost in the final. Bashir Ahmed nearly pulled off a miraculous comeback victory alongside the young man here who made 37 off 14 deliveries, Nandan Yadav. But it does mean that your year is going to be quite heavy in the back end of it, if that makes sense. You have to play 3 series each year in Cricket World Cup League 2. The first 2 will be away. This one concludes today for you in Dundee before a T20 Ice series will follow. You'll then go to Dubai in October, but that will be after the T20 World Cup qualifier that'll be in Muscat at the start of the month. I know lots of people are talking about roughly when the MPL will be, November, December sort of time, and then you'll have a home series in Cricket World Cup League 2 as well, where you'll welcome Oman and the UAE. It's a huge 6 months ahead, isn't it? It really is unbelievably important.
After this game, we probably prepare directly towards the World Cup qualifiers in Oman, where will be a 3.5 months of proper understanding of what how the best T20 team could be, and there are a lot of potential tours that have been lined up where we try and prepare the best of what we can. And after that, where the Cricket World League cycle again happens. But it's going to be a very hectic season ahead. Why? Because there's a lot of cricket until the end of the year. There's a lot of excitement around the fact that there are 3 spots up for grabs now compared to the 2 spots where. And when you talk about the Asian region, it's probably one of the most difficult places for you to qualify into a T20 World Cup. So there's a lot at stakes. We start preparing for that series, post this series with the T20I series against Netherlands and Scotland, and leading up to 3 months of proper grinding for our T20 squad.
Then the leg side again, just slightly losing his shape. It's been an expensive over already. 10 runs have come from it, including the 3 wides. Can you give us a few hints maybe, or give us a bit of a sense as to where some of that preparation might take place? Well, it probably won't be at home, will it, because the monsoon will start to kick in. But you'll try to replicate those conditions. Obviously, the final will be in Muscat. Plenty of options for you to go to.
Yeah, we have things in place. It'll probably come down to official announcement. People are still going gaga over something you posted 2 days ago. Everyone's asking what's Lenny about. Lenny, you probably have to do the honors tomorrow. So whatever that it is,
That was about me, not about cricket in Nepal.
Exactly. I mean, when people kept asking me like, what is Andrew Leonard gonna say, or what the announcement with Rohit Paudal's background, it just meant everybody was so intrigued. And
Did I set your phone buzzing by accident? I'm sorry if I
a lot of
did.
people have, in fact, there have been articles where there's a big announcement on Wednesday, and then
They're going to be disappointed.
it probably means you will have to do the honors tomorrow, where you make the statement of your own whatever thing that you're in.
Yeah, we can clarify that was regarding something to do with me, not to do with cricket in Nepal. Absolutely. I do love the enthusiasm, though. It's so enjoyable. And in terms of roughly when those official announcements may come regarding the Nepal stuff, that'll be kind of later in the month or
Yes,
into July.
we have put a timeline to all of our announcements, and a lot of excitement as well. And like I said, we'll let people wait
Get
to-
through the T20 series
It's
first, I
good
presume, and then
level,
after that.
Yes, I'm probably a couple of announcements will be before that.
ये
But
का ठीक
the most
है
important
तो
thing
लगा
here is
यार
right now there's a game to be won. The game's still not over. As we speak, a couple of good overs means there's going to be a lot of tension on both ends, and we just hope that I just hope that Nepal will make it through today.
Yeah, that's what I suspect every Nepal fan around the world will be thinking of. It's a fascinating game. 80 required to win
हाँ
off
सब
78.
अच्छा है
Deliveries, Kushal
हाँ
Bertel,
सब
very much doing a wonderful job, isn't he? You think about his wicket-taking threat, but
अरे
really,
मर्दे इतने
his economy here has
मुझे
been
दिखा रही है बाद
impeccable, keeping things
दिखा
very
दिखा
tight. He's got the favour of that wind.
ये
80
अब
is
पापा
drifting
पांच
to
ला
the
गया पांच बजे
right-handers.
का बाल तीन बल नहीं हो
Another one beats the outside edge. He's a talented
अरे
young
महीन
bowler.
में
Stuart Law was
महीन में
he's been blown away by him.
Grown over the last couple of years. I still remember when he used to come and bowl in the nets. Look at that drift. He's using it to perfect.
That's unplayable.
And I think the wind's also helping him get the drift in. And if he keeps landing on that spot, he's about to get a wicket any time.
His accuracy, ironic as we say it, with balls are wide outside the off stump, but his accuracy is much improved, isn't it? Because he's bowling more and more.
Yeah, sometimes with modern day cricket, I think it's become so three-dimensional that everybody's got to do. Everybody I know, people say that you need specialists. He's one of our best opening batters. Every time he gets a good start, Nepal's winning percentage goes over the roof. But his bowling and his fielding are two of the most additional thing that has. I mean, he's always been a very good fielder, but the bowling that he has shown over the last couple of years means that there's an extra option for the captain to look into. And you look at it today that as far as his figures are concerned, it's decent. Would probably mean he want to get those couple of wickets to cement that faith that the captain's shown in him.
Yeah, so many bowling options. Tell us, Paris, a little bit about how you will focus then on that T20 World Cup qualifier. It's so important, isn't it? You told me off air when I was at Lord's with you that you waited a decade for Nepal to get back to the World Cup. You don't want to wait another decade. You want to make it back-to-back tournaments.
Absolutely. The whole vision of taking Nepal cricket into another dimension would mean that we'll have to keep playing those world events. Once you go into World Cups, the opportunity then arises for you to play as well as try and beat some of these test playing nations. You only get recognized when you start beating the big boys. So for us, after this ODI game means there'll be proper planning of how we want to take this forward with. 3 of our boys will be flying in for the T20. Fantastic.
Standing from Irie.
From the Pendra Singh Irie.
He is something else, isn't he, in the field? I don't think many other fielders would have got there. I don't think there's many better than him in the world. Maybe Glenn Phillips of New Zealand. But he's gone full length to his right here. Just get a look at this at home. He's barely even in the picture and then somehow spread eagles himself across the turf. Gets the throw on off the one knee. Nearly affects the direct hit. That's the only thing he hasn't done today, is hit the stumps. But it's another unsaved. Closes out the 38th, 160 for 6. The fact that that T20 World Cup will be in India and Sri Lanka, you'd imagine that the ICC, if Nepal do qualify, will put Nepal into a group in India. That could be revolutionary, transformational.
Obviously, half of Nepal travel to India, from buses to trains to planes. I know it's just the excitement for where we are right now.
Yeah.
Nepal cricket's never been where we are today. There's so much of goodwill around us, national, international people wanting to, attach ourselves to Nepal cricket. We had discussions about the Nepal Premier League at Lords as well the other day, where there's a lot about where franchise cricket is heading towards, where international cricket is. Nepal's being potentially discussed to become the next big thing, but for us to be the big thing, there's a lot of things that we need to do at our end as well. But we're getting that recognition last year when we played the T20 World Cup. It meant that we played some of our best cricket. Unfortunately, the results were not there, but the kind of cricket we played surprised a lot of people.
Power pull from Noah Cross. Been a few from Karen Casey that have just sat up to be hit today. That's another one brought back in. Looks like Powell doesn't want to turn to the sixth bowler. I've been a little bit surprised at the lack of Dipender Singh Airi today with the ball. Thought he'd be a good option. Banged into the turf and really well played by Noah Kroos. Excellent shot. The Dutch will keep scrapping right the way to the finish. Don't rule out another thrilling climax here in Dundee. Could be the third in 4 games for Nepal. We've seen 5 excellent series. Some are talking online, Paris, that this has been the best ever triangular in Cricket World Cup League 2 history. There's been just so much good cricket and so many good games.
The next 1 hour will probably decide all of that because I said it when I came online. We have to get those 10 wickets. Unless you do that, the competition that we're in, it's very, very competitive, and I can sense the fact that Kroos got a good score in the last game that he played against us, and right now with Ruloff still in the shed, the Dutch can bat, and it means even if the required rate is 6.26 as we speak, we will have to keep hitting those good areas, and whatever balls that are left of the remaining overs, they'll have to make use of the best of them.
Can you tell people watching not from Nepal, Nepal fans will be acutely aware, but the progress you're making, not just on the TU International Cricket Ground, but there's venues springing up now. It feels like right the way across the country.
We did our first ever Red Ball tournament early this year, where the top 4 teams from the Prime Minister's Cup, which is our premier tournament for them to play the Red Ball format. The players absolutely loved it. I think there's been a buzz around where Nepal's finally introduced Red Ball cricket compared to any other country which is going the T10 or the T20 way. For us, the Red Ball cricket means that we want to improve the skills of our cricketers. The red ball swings more. There's a lot.
Oh, beautiful drive, and Powell and Bashir Ahmed almost run around it. I think Rohit Powell thought it was Bashir Ahmed. Bashir Ahmed maybe got a little bit intimidated by the captain running his eye line. Second boundary of the over. Noah Kroos, well, he's looked really good all series. On drive is always a good sign of a good shot, and that's a glorious stroke.
He just met the ball at the right area and punched it beautifully.
Yeah, the 2 fielders just unable to cut it off. Excellent shot. Nepal are not by any means over the line yet. The Netherlands showing real fight for this 7th wicket partnership. Kroos and Klein combining nicely. And that's going to help as well. That'll race all the way to the rope. The 3rd boundary of the over. Rohit Powell might need to think about a bowling change here and get a 6th bowler in. Really surprised the lack of Dipender Singh Airi today. He often seems underused, doesn't he, in terms of his bowling? It's almost always economical, Paris.
Yeah, you see, sometimes with the options that you have, you may use or not use some of these bowlers. We still have Basil who can bowl as well. It'll probably come down to taking those right decisions when it matters. So I'm sure this over hasn't been great for Casey. It's been a bit short. This has been good batting.
Yeah, that J Trophy that came in to give you Red Ball cricket ended the 39th. It's 172 for 6. That's been fantastic, but the venues that are coming up, it's not just the TU, there's others as well. Mulpani now completed in Kathmandu.
Yeah, we have 2 grounds in Mulpani, the under-19 World Cup qualifiers, is where when we launched another one of our grounds, which is there, but hadn't hosted any form of international cricket. With the J Trophy that I was discussing, a couple of grounds in the Tarai where we put in a lot of in the off season. We invested on the pitches, and then you see you have a national tournament of that scale being played on that side of the country as well. The PM Cup happened for the first time outside of Kathmandu in 3 different grounds, and it just means that there are a lot of potential venues now growing. The local government is keen to hand over some of these proper cricket grounds to CAN so that we can nurture and take care of it. There's been a lot of buzz since the Nepal Premier League, where the local stakeholders now feel that this is where the game's going to change for us, where we bring in some of the best cricketers from the commercial part of it. CAN probably will now try and identify themselves as a strong region for cricketers to come and play.
Kushal Patel is going to continue. Are you kind of getting across that some of the franchises are saying, well, hold on, maybe not next year or the year after, but we'd love to start to host games, you know, whether it be in Sudar Prashim or down in the Terai region, or out towards Baratnagar or the Janakpur, the champions? Is that what they're saying to you?
Right now, we just need to get the TU Stadium completed.
Yeah.
Once that is done, I'd probably look that place as hosting a lot of international teams. We have, because we have ODI status, we'll probably try and invite some of the bigger teams that are there with good facilities for us. And of course, there's interest around developing these grounds, and over a period of time, we hope that we'll have a home and away series even at our own premier tournament. So
Big
it's very
appeal.
fantastic
Gone.
from Kushal Burtel.
And Kushal Bertel has the breakthrough. Kroos went deep in his crease.
Probably the wicket that Nepal was looking into. We're speaking about Kushal, that his bowling's come up the ranks.
He's really deserved this, hasn't he? Kroos deep in his crease, gets trapped all right in front. It's going to go on and strike middle stump. It's an easy decision. Nepal haven't had many LBWs go in their favour. That's the third today from that end. Two go to Lamachani, this one to Kushal Bertel. Three good balls away, Nepal now, as Kroos falls for 22. And the Netherlands, they slide further, 173 for 7 now. Nepal on the brink of making it 3 from 4 in this tour. Paris, you would have to tell me, surely, if you were offered that at the start of the tour, you'd have probably bitten my hand off for it, wouldn't you?
You've got to be optimistic. One thing about Nepal cricket, you never underestimate where we are, what we are. But honestly speaking, there's hunger in the team because we brought in somebody like Stewart as well. There's a consultant, Nick Potus, is there as well, and the likes of Gyanendra Malla being there in the system, and you see all of these boys come through a lot of domestic cricket. Although we did not play international cricket, it means that there was a lot of cricket behind the wheels, and now as we come to this part of the world, the preparation leading up to this tour has been great. There's belief in the boys, as you see, everyone's discussing as to how we get those last 3 wickets. There's harmony. I see the technical analyst smiling in there.
Raman Day.
Yeah, Asif, although he's not playing the game, I can see he's put in a lot of effort around the boundary, getting in those strings. So it just looks like the boys are in good, happy state of mind. And I said it before, it's about building what we have done in the last 3 games, including this one. We cross the line today would mean we then want to replicate this and become as more consistent as possible, because that's how we're going to grow into the points table and also grow the whole idea of we wanted to becoming one of the top associate nations. And it all comes down to winning everywhere. We go out there to perform, we go out there to play, we go out there to win, and that's the mentality I feel we need to develop.
Rudolf van der Merwe to the crease. He's in at number 8, excuse me, number 9 for the Netherlands, replacing the departing Noah Kroos. Carl Klein is still there. He's got the edge over him at number 8 at the moment. He's 11, not 8. Van der Merwe is very capable, but as his career has evolved, he's just dropped down the order, drifted down the order a little bit. It's just a fraction over a run of ball required. We're just about to finish the second power play. Going to keep you for 2 more overs, Paris. If you don't mind, as Kushal Bertel produces another beauty drift, dip and turn into the 40th, 173 for 7. And as we look here, just once more, Paris, at the points table, I understand what you're saying, and you've given me kind of the politician's answer, if you don't mind me saying that. But 3 wins from 4
I mean, see, Lenny,
is a huge achievement in these conditions.
Absolutely. We do not take anything for granted. You can plan, you can prepare, but all that matters is when you turn up for the game is when you perform the best of what you can. We have done that in all 4 games until now. Sometimes results may come in your favor or may not, but it's about setting the benchmark, and it's about pulling in the yards. It's about performing when someone's not. We see the kind of performances the lower batting orders provided today. There's a lot of criticism over whether our spinners are not doing the job as they're supposed to, and you see today that they've turned up, and Sandeep and Lalit and Kushal are just shaping themselves to win the game. It's all about team effort, hanging in there, believing in each other. You and I know, no matter how good we are as individuals, if the team's not functioning as a unit, it really doesn't matter. And what we've seen is the boys have started to believe in themselves once again. There's a lot of strategic plans in place. I'm sure there's a lot of background work that's been put in, and now you see the results coming in. But this is just the beginning of a lot of good things to come.
Sandy Blamachani to return. He's bowled beautifully today after a rare off day 2 days ago. He finished with none for 69 2 days ago, 3 for 34 today. I was a leg spinner in Paris, as you know, and whenever you see 9, 10 and 11 at the crease and you've got 3 next to your name, you're thinking, okay,
He's looking for a 5.
I'm in here, I can still get 5. That's what he'll be thinking of, licking his lips. Another beauty.
That's it.
Bowled really nicely, bowled a bit quicker through the air today. The zip is back. Away from the team, Paris, the importance of your trip here. You were down at World Cricket Connects. I was there with you for the full Saturday. I had to come back up for the Sunday, but it was a pretty special occasion, wasn't it? Some of the most influential people in world cricket there.
Yeah.
And there was a huge amount of interest, wasn't there, about Nepali cricket, and also a general consensus that the game needs to grow.
See, we're in this level where we're being talked about. The most important thing is what happens on the field, where we're making in all the right noises. The World Cricket League is competitive as we speak. The World Cricket Connects was a fantastic platform where discussed of all the things that needs to be done for the game to move forward with. When you're at Lords and you're in the long room and you're discussing cricket and Nepal is a subject that comes up, would mean I can't think of anything better. Talk to a lot of influential people in the game, where hopefully we'll get a lot of these people over the next 5-6 months to Nepal. The Nepal Premier League is obviously a focal point of where we're bringing all of these good cricketers and people from the cricketing world. I put in a lot of yards to try and get matches against some of these test-playing countries, which we've been talking about for a very long time, and hopefully will transpire that into the future. It's about building what we have done so far. It's a matter of time, I guess. We just need to build the foundation. Nepal cricket's always been associated with this name called potential, but now that potential has to yield results, and I hope we can do that in the next 3 to 5 years of where we are, and then hope to become the best version of ourselves.
We will get you that points table this time around. Sorry, I just couldn't quite get my graphics up a moment ago. This is the current state of play in ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. Andrew Leonard here. I've got Paris Khadka, the former captain of Nepal and the current secretary of the Cricket Association of Nepal. If Nepal could close out a win here, they'll narrow that gap to just 2 points to the 6th place in Namibia, and they will have 4 games in hand, and all of a sudden things are looking a little bit rosier than they did a few weeks ago, after there was a little bit of panic with Nepal and UAE quite a way adrift at the bottom of the table. Not just for cricket in Nepal, Paris, but I think that conference seemed to be really important for me, that there was a consensus from the World Cricketers Association, the Boston Consulting Group, the MCC themselves, and kind of almost everyone we spoke to there. I know you and I were kind of there as advocates. You were there as an advocate of cricket in Nepal. I was there as an advocate of the associate game. But there seemed to be a genuine consensus that the game has to evolve, has to grow, and has to change. And international cricket needs to keep its place as a critical part of that.
There's this huge debate on what franchise cricket and international cricket could mean to the future of young upcoming cricketers. The game's changing as we speak. Young boys and girls out there are wanting to take up this sport because we're living in this social media era. Because everything's so accessible, it means that the kids growing up today would probably have all access to whether how to bowl an off spin, a leg spin, a googly, and how to hit that perfect cover drive. They build their own foundation on all of this. Then you have the coaching to go with it. Then you have a franchise cricket all over the world, country over a franchise over country. How do you define that? How do you justify that? So a lot of things that we discussed over the last couple of days meant that there's a serious discussion on how we want to take this forward.
Oh, beauty, big appeal. David McLean says no.
Looked like a tight one, didn't it? Again, that was some delivery from Kushal Patel. He's just been exceptional.
Just the drift and the bite out of the surface here. That's a perfect leg break. And
I probably would want a slip in there. Why? Because you don't want the slip. I mean, you don't want to edge going down this first slip because the bull's turning is drifting in. We'll probably get in that short third up at first slip.
Let's have a look at the side on here. I think David McLean has been eagle-eyed, but no single there. Yeah, and the appetite that's kind of being built up for the growth of the game seems to be from a want and a will to expand the market, to make cricket into a more global sport. We've got a 20-team T20 World Cup now. Would you be very much calling for more support for particularly the leading associates? Like, the level of funding compared to the lower test nations, you're getting what, a ninth, a tenth of the funding of an Ireland or an Afghanistan or a Zimbabwe.
I mean, I don't want to go that side of the conversation. Lenny will probably put two of us into a lot of soup. But see, there's competition at this league. There's a lot of talent. This talent, if you have to sustain over a period of time, needs that backing, and that backing will only come if there's a bit of financial assistance. I know there's restrictions on the ICC as well with the funding that needs to be presented.
Another big appeal, but definitely safely home this time. Kushal Patel has it on a string, maybe the best spell of his ODI career. He's had memorable days, particularly against South Africa in the T20 game. 42 bowled, 177 for 7. Just keep you for one more over.
Yeah.
But would it be fair to say that the reason that the cricket's so entertaining at this level is because of the context of it, the importance of it, and the jeopardy? We kept hearing that word, didn't we, at Lord's? Jeopardy needs to be there for the fan to be engaged.
Nepal's unique in this way. Why? Because we have some of the most passionate fans. You've been there, like Nepal's home to you. What world cricket needs is to define where Test cricket is heading towards. Because obviously, growing up, even until today, if you ask me what the ultimate dream for Nepal would be for us to become a Test-playing country, but what does Test cricket bring you is another question, because it's an important subject that's being discussed. Full membership, yes, it's something that can't be denied. It's something I'm sure all of these ODI countries that are fighting in day out just to be in that position. The important thing here is to fund and, I would say, globalize associate cricket through more viewership. Sometimes you take all of the talent that's there for granted, and you see over the years where some of the best cricket in the last 1 week has been here
In Dundee.
And you think of that, the World Test Championship final starts tomorrow. There were discussions on whether the championship should be of 2 tiers and all of that. Some countries, the likes of India, Australia, England, South Africa, maybe where Test cricket's big, but the other countries where cricket's now becoming a Olympic sport. If you have to capture the imagination of the global world, it means there has to be a way how we define our game, and it means countries like Nepal become special. Why? Because when somebody comes to Nepal and sees Nepal on TV, the number of people that go on to watch a cricket game is still as live as how it used to be back in the 80s and 90s of all of the test-playing countries. And now with stadiums being built, we're trying to send a strong message to everybody that irrespective of where the world's heading towards, Nepal wants to become a full member country. We've introduced red ball cricket. We hope to become a test playing country. I don't know what the timeline is when we become that, but irrespective of whatever tires the ICC comes up with for the future, we just want to grow as a cricketing nation because the love for the game hasn't been better than what it is today.
Pretty exciting to say the least. Dipender Singh is finally into the attack. He's so quick between his overs. hands here as well, because this game is not done by any stretch of the imagination yet. Roelof van der Merwe only knows one way to play his cricket, and that's to fight with all his might. He is still there. Carl Klein's got to 15. And the shots are going to come out. Big shots like that one. Outstanding from Roelof van der Merwe. That's gone all the way for 6, I think. Might be just one bounce 4, in fact. But the perfect execution of the switch hit as I welcome back Mel Farrell. This is a brilliant stroke, isn't it? This game is not over yet, Mel.
It's certainly not. With a few more shots like that, it might come down to the wire yet again, Lenny.
I don't think my heart can take any more after the week that we've had. I know you could probably only hear so much from the opposite tent there, Mel, but just a final over from Paris Kadka there, painting the picture of potential where Nepal will become a full member nation of the ICC. He didn't set a timeline on it. He said a very strong message that he wants to play Test cricket and he wants Nepal to be on that journey to become the next full member of the ICC. He says the fans are integral to it, the support they're getting now from the government back in Nepal and the stadiums and the venues that are being built. It's a very exciting time indeed. They've got to match it on the pitch. They've shown here in alien conditions as to how good they can be. They've won 2 from 3. They'd love to make it 3 from 4.
Guys, subscribe subscribe please. Subscribe सबले. Please subscribe गरिदिनु न यार सबले, यति जना हुनुहुन्छ. Subscribe गरिदिनुस् न guys, please subscribe.
For not just for cricket in Nepal, but the associate game generally, it feels like there's a real surge of momentum behind it.
Well, there is, and what Nepal has going in its favour is that engaged, huge, passionate fan base.
Please subscribe गरिदिनुस् न सबजनाले. गरिदिनुस् न, subscribe गरिदिनुस् न, 11 जना हुनुहुन्छ. Please subscribe गरिदिनुस् न. Please subscribe.
Well, of playing talent, and that I think is key in them developing their domestic setup, because that's the thing sometimes with the associate nations coming through Test membership. We've seen the issues that Ireland in particular have had, and you can't just have the pyramid top.
Yeah, just want to clarify, the umpire did actually fold his arms across his chest. I was watching the replay to amend his...
अरे यार लाइक त गर्दिउ, सब्स्क्राइब नगर्ने चुतियाहरू, मादर चोदहरू.
Neutrals had come in out that side of the ground. They were helping out and making sure it was correctly signalled as a 6. As they'll dash a quick single. Fantastic fielding off his own bowling by Kushal Bertel, but Van der Merwe gets in for the single.
Yeah, it's important if you're going to become a Test nation that you don't just have the tip of the pyramid, and by that I mean the talented players at the top. It has to be supported by a whole base underneath, and that's playing talent, it's infrastructure, it's a pathway system, it's investment. And Nepal does have those things. It's certainly got the beginnings of those things and something to develop.
Carl Klein's done nicely. I know he's not scoring quickly, but it can't be easy out there for guys in the lower order facing spinners of this quality. Rajbanshi, Lamachani, Kushal Bertel has been exceptional too. All 3 of them quite brilliant.
I think it's been a brilliant all-round performance by the bowlers, by the fielders backing them up, by the captain in the way he's rotated his bowlers as well.
Wicket, bro, wicket.
It's been a very, very good game in the field.
Big appeal. No interest this time from the umpire. Kushal Bertel was convinced, wasn't he? Signal's going to be interesting given his leg buys. Now, what was this missing? It's hit the back pad. I tell you something, that is close, isn't it?
Another close one, gee. It's been a tough one for the umpires because there are a lot that have been very close.
I think maybe just a bit of bounce involved and a lot going on.
And at the end of 44, it's 190 for 7. Run rate required creeping up. Closer and closer towards that 8 runs and over mark. Couple more boundaries or 6s, like the one we saw to begin the last over, will help Netherlands' cause and just keep in touch with it. But Here we are, Dipendra Singh Airy, who I know that you wanted to see come into play.
Yeah, no, I was calling for him at this stage of the game 2 days ago. He bowls very effectively in the final power play, because it's essentially you're into T20 mode where, 6 or 7 and over as a bowler is a really good result.
Haydi
And
Allah, haydi.
you get the 5 fielders in the deep, he'll bowl very flat with his trajectory, he'll keep things tight, he'll use that angle around the wicket. And yeah, I think he's mainly come in. They do have a specialist death bowler in the 11 today in Nandan Yadav. That's why some fans were calling for Nandan Yadav to be in the side. He's got 3 left. And even deliveries like that, you might say it's a full toss, but it's just so flat and it's speared in at you. Difficult to get away.
You can just see Klein going for a little walk, pressure building already.
Pick-up shot, and it's a pick-up shot that's going to go all the way. Outstanding from Kyle Klein. Being promoted up the order to number 8. He's answering the call. The first maximum in quite a while. And the Dutch are very much still in this contest. 40 required to win.
Well, unable to get the previous full toss away this time. It's kind of in the slot. And he makes the most of it. So 6s coming in successive overs for this partnership. And it is keeping them in touch with that required run rate. Ball has been found.
33 for 40.
Oh, Lenny, how do you
Chakka
do this on a
diga.
regular basis?
It's again and again and again. It is classic. Got a touch on the Dutch though, Mel. They've been excellent, haven't they? In fact, the way in which they've kind of just hung around. Kyle Klein, remember, elevated as captain for the first time, the HBS man. And the reason he's gone up the order, he's averaging over 30 in the top class at a strike rate of 90. He does pick up the short ball well. And there is just a question to be answered now for Nepal. Pressure on. The reason Powell wanted the 6th bowler was because of Karen Casey's slight struggles today. Required run rate hovers around 7. That's very achievable. I think we're going all the way again here, Mel. Gets it fuller this time, so can't get underneath it.
In the last over, they got the 6 on the first ball. This time on the 3rd ball of the over, and just being able to get that boundary ball in the first half of the over. Just the psychological release.
Yeah, the other thing for Klein as well, you've got to think about, is that he's been asked not just to captain there in the Pro Series for the first time, and a very young man, 23 years of age. But he's kind of been asked to bat up the order for HBS in the Netherlands top class. And they've had 4 wins from 10. It's been a fascinating year in the top class because they're going to have 3 go down this year. So Kampong, who were only in the Huft class last year, they got promoted up thanks to Max O'Dowd and Scotty Edwards playing in the 2nd division last year. They've come up to the top division now. They're top of the table. And real established clubs like VOC and Excelsior are staring down the barrel of potential relegation. 3 sides could go down, 2 definitely will. There'll be a playoff game then as well, as the top classer will be restricted to 8 teams next year. But there has been development, and I like what Ryan Cook has done in terms of rewarding good performances in the top class. That's why Wesley Baracey is back in today. He made 36, but nobody in the innings has made more than that 36 of Baracey. So if the Netherlands are going to get there as another one rags past the outside edge, one of these 2 is going to have to end up with more than 36 at the end, and they'll be the hero if the Dutch can pull off this win.
Big if. That's a lovely delivery. Once again, lost that turn past the outside edge.
Kushal Bertel, he's not just looked like Sandeep Lamachani light, he's looked like every inch of leg spinner that Sandeep Lamachani is. But Van der Merwe has been around the block. He's been all across the cricketing world. He's been there and he's done it. The 200's up in the 46th over. I think if these 2 are still together in the 50th, the Dutch should get there. The required run rate is not out of hand. Arjen Dutt can bat. He's in next. Paul van Meekeren a little less so at number 11. This game, again, it hangs agonisingly in the balance. Don't think they'll get the 2nd because Sharky's very quickly in.
I seen a few comments from people saying that this particular round is probably the best round that we might have ever seen in the ICC Cricket World Cup League 2. I don't know if that's true, but boy, has it been good.
I reckon I've watched a bit of every single round robin Everly's triangular series from both editions. Probably commentated on, I don't know, a third of them or something like that. I can't remember a better one. There was one in Papua New Guinea last cycle, where Papua New Guinea is the only one they hosted against Namibia and USA. It was totally bonkers. There was a tie, there was a last over victory, a bit of everything happened down there. That was a good one. But I reckon this one has its number by a distance. Definitely the best series you've ever seen. And what a good time for it to happen. World Test Championship getting underway this week. All of the importance of World Cricket Connect. So on the weekend, which Paris Katka was telling us about its importance and the genuine interest from so many test nations in it. Good time for associate cricket to put on an absolute quality show. We've still got a game to come. Netherlands against Scotland. The Dutch, well, I knew today whatever happened, they weren't going to be going down easy. They would never consider losing 4 in a row without consequence. And with 46 bowled, we're going to go to the 50th and final. It's odds on. 204 for 7, 237 to win.
Bertel finishes his 10 overs with figures of 1 for 34, and that was a good over to finish as well. Only able to get the singles, not finding the boundary. Just economy rate of 3.4, outstanding. This.
I think the score is the exact same. That's right. It's 204 v 204 after 46 overs. Neck and neck yet again.
Unbelievable. You genuinely thought that defending what was a modest total in the end, that really Netherlands could just bat sensibly and manoeuvre the ball, take on the bad ones when they offered themselves up. But it's just been such good bowling from the spinners in particular. Yadav as well.
And then on the flip side of that, Mel, when Netherlands had fallen to 136 for 6 and just lost 2 wickets inside 4 runs, you suspected that Nepal might win and win quite handily. But a fighting effort, first from Kroos and Klein, and now Kyle Klein finding a willing ally in Roelof van der Merwe. Remember, Klein is very inexperienced internationally with the bat. This is his career best, 25. Nandan Yadav has a chance to show his death bowling skills. It's all going to come down to the final 4 overs. He'll have to re-bowl that one. Dead ball will be signalled. It's 33 to win off 24. All 3 results possible again.
Oh, Lenny. Oh dear. It has been, honestly, the most brilliant week and a half here in Dundee.
We've got more to come, don't we? The ODI on Thursday and then 6 brilliant T20Is to come. We move across to Glasgow for those. What can Nandan Yadav find? He starts with a dot ball. He's been impressive today, hasn't he? And this Achilles heel that has haunted Nepal for quite a while, their death bowling, can they find a young man, an ODI debut, to start to fill that gap?
Well, he started the ball rolling with the wicket of Max O'Dowd right up at the beginning of this innings. So it was a great start from Yadav. Can he finish it off?
The question's going to be, it looks like Yadav's going to bowl 47 and 49, no doubt about that. Cut away, straight to the man who holds on, very well judged, and Yadav has his second international wicket on his debut. Have Nepal found what they've been looking for? Someone to hold their nerve at the death. It's Van der Merwe who holds out. A good catch from Bim Sharkey. Nepal have 8.
What a moment for the young man coming in on debut. It was short, it was wide. tried to get the elevation with the wind, but there was not enough on it. And well, with these Nepal players in the field, you don't think they're going to drop them at the crunch moments. Oh boy, Bim Sharkey it was with the catch. And Van der Merwe, it was a fighting effort, but he departs on 16. Is there another twist yet to come, Lenny? I won't rule it out.
I'll just see a message now. That cricket badge, I cannot imagine a game more interesting than this. I think those harsh 10-run penalty will come into play. Well, they're already in play, aren't they? If it wasn't for that, it would be 43 to win off 22, and the game would be all but done and dust, you would imagine, particularly 8 down. Arjan Dutt is batting capable. It was there to be hit, wasn't it? But Van der Merwe, I'm not sure where he was trying to go. Kind of frantically just swung the bat at it. The Nepal fans in the background love it. Big smile on the captain's face. Rohit Paudel. And yeah, for those wondering about those 10 penalty runs given in the first innings, 36.3 and 39.2 for the batsman running on the pitch after a warning was assessed earlier in the 33rd over. Bashir Ahmed involved, also Arif Sheikh, who was the hero with the bat, was out there. He made 84. Poor Bashir Ahmed was caught soon after the second set of penalty runs were applied. Maybe the first one were somewhat understandable, the second one felt harsh. But Nepal, they have this game under control despite those 10 penalty runs. Arjan Dutt, the big tall man with the giant feet, size 15 feet he has. He's in at number 10. Nepal's ground fielding, it's been electric, hasn't it? Led by this man yet again, Dipender Singh Airi.
Yeah, their ground fielding has just been outstanding. And they've kept the pressure on all the time. We've seen so many shies at the stumps. The Netherlands batters have spent almost as much time sprawled on their front as they have standing up. It's just been so chaotic, and that's what they've done too. They've drawn the Netherlands into their chaos, and that's where they operate the best.
Cut away will be a single because it's straight to Bim Sharkey. But what a final spell start from Nandan Yadav. Dot wicket, dot one. Now the task becomes ever taller and the microscope focuses on Kyle Klein squarely. Can he find acceleration? He's got a career best in international cricket, but he's only hit one boundary, that maximum off Dipender Singh Airi. He needs to start finding a few more.
Yeah, rests on his shoulders now, batting with the tail, only 2 wickets in hand. He's going to have to control the strike as well as find the runs.
It's yet another frantic finish here in Dundee. Nepal maybe just hold the aces though with the runs on the board. Good delivery, the perfect Yorker. He's nailed that. It's just inside the guideline. Extra velocity out of the hand, the key. Are Nepal unearthing a death bowling star here that they desperately need?
Well, it's been the missing part of the puzzle, and that is absolutely outstanding. The wide Yorker, perfectly executed, and it's been the weakness, if you will, for this Nepal side and their bowling and who to turn to at the end. But so far, Yadav has done a brilliant job coming back into the attack.
This time just a little too wide.
लाइव तो हो मत दे, हटो छोड़ो मत दे, तू खोल दिया अपना जीटी आज चलेगा। अरे यार क्या
Many will have felt that his future was going to lay in Australia, but his mother said, "You must come back to Nepal." Mothers, we said they're always right, and Nandan Yadav, Nepal, have unearthed a new star here.
Comes back into the bowling and gets 2 wickets because Rohit Paudel is never going to drop those. What a moment this is for the young man. Brilliant, coming into the side, making his debut right at the end of this particular round of matches. And boy, has he had an impact. They're 1 wicket away now. As Paul van Meekeren comes in, last man standing. It's just been such, I wouldn't say a clinical effort in the field because it's had that element of chaos, but it has been clinical chaos, Lenny, if that makes sense.
Kind of, but there's been plenty of madness in there, and certainly the Dutch have got drawn into the mire.
सरप्राइज
Well,
मिल गया यार
the
कसम
10th
से
wicket partnership's going to have it all to do, and they'll have Sandeep Lamachani to face. It's a desperately difficult position now
यो
from
मार
here.
देखो
The headband's going to go
मार
on.
देखो मजा आ जाएगी
Don't know who's going to be player of the match today because everyone's played their
तो मार दिलम छनो मार दे
special
आप
mention
उड़ लवा
for
किसी
Debbie
कैच
Todd.
कैप्टन हो
3 wickets for him. He's been so
अरे आज तक
good
भाव
this
पड़
week.
गया यार पे तो
Really
हुआ था
has.
3 विकेट लौंडा मार दी लास्ट टाइम
Just
टाइम
wonder,
को
are Nepal standing on the brink
वो
of
लास्ट
making
टाइम में
3
ऐसे हो जाला
from 4
सब्सक्राइबर
in
वो मार
foreign
देला बैंड मार
conditions? It
देला
could
का
have been
स्टिक
all
मार देला
4, couldn't it?
आईसी
Apart from a
कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक हम देला का
defeat. We've seen the most brilliant series.
अरे बनता नहीं हो तू
Finally,
YouTube में आईना के आईसी ले स्ट्राइक हम दे था
fitting that Sandeep Lamachani
वो इतना मारने चलता है अच्छा अच्छा नहीं चला लगा कब कब
I think it might be only the second
दाई चल जाती है
time
वरना
they've
जिल जान
finished
करो
this off now, but they've
काला
won
काला सी दिखाई बस
3 away
चिकरम चालो मैं कहां देखा था इंग्लैंड का
in
क्रिकेट
a
देखा था
round of this
मैच
ICC World Cup League 2. They won
तो तुम्हारे
three
ऐप में
in
नेपाल में
UAE,
पढ़े देखा है तू एचडी स्ट्रीम में हो ना
I believe.
Yeah,
एचडी
that
स्ट्रीम
was
वो
the
नेपाल के मैच में
ultimate
नहीं आई
series of the whole
अरे
thing.
बाप
ना आया वाला नेपाल के
Recall
मैच
one
एचडी स्ट्रीम में
bounce
मर दे
against Scotland and Namibia. Then they went away to the UAE. They won 3
घंटा
from
चली
4.
चल भाई नहीं करी
Chaotic games
ये
there.
मार दे
ना चली चला तू देख लो आधा घंटा बैठा रहो करिए वर रही ना चली
ना चला कहां ना चला
चल भाई नहीं करी स्ट्राइक मार दिया कभी स्ट्राइक मार दी सी
चला तो हाँ नहीं
कल यूं चल रहा
They
था
went
नौ
4
दिन
on
तो
the
चल
bounce at
रहा
home to win 11 from 12. The 11 miracles in 12 games that rounded out that last series. We're not quite towards the latter stages of this
कुछ टाइम में करी
competition
हो
yet.
गया
But Nepal are certainly raising the pulse,
ना लास्ट
raising
ओवर
the
हो
heart
घंटा
rates
चला
yet
नहीं
again.
देखा
And this Cricket World Cup League 2 table,
अरे आज तो
folds
गेम में
out
पटल
this
दी
week,
संदन कसम
surely
से
they're going to do. Well, it is going to be an absolute logjam by December 2025. I'll tell you that much. And we'll be in for a fantastic and spectacular finish. Kenny, one of 7 teams take those 4 spots now, maybe puts the UAE in trouble. But this is too tall a task, surely, for Arjan Dutt and Paul van Meekeren, and it's not their job to do it with the bat. Lamachani's been brilliant today, Mel.
Yeah, he has.
गाइस सब्सक्राइब आंदी में यार सब्सक्राइब प्लीज
Particularly in this bowling lineup, Lenny.
Nicely driven down the ground. The problem is that scoreboard pressure is going to come into play. Kept saying that because of the quality of spin that they have, they could do that. And I think that's going to be the case. They may end up being bowled all out, but a lot of those wickets have come because of the pressure of that scoreboard, because of the required run rate spiralling. It's now over 2 runs a ball needed. 30 required. Sorry, exactly. 2 runs a ball, 30 required. 15 balls to do it. Penalty runs may matter not. Big appeal. Sandeep Lamachani's convinced, but the umpire is not. Wrapped him on the pad. No bat involved. What's this missing? Well, outside the line, isn't he? Good decision. Lalit Rajbanshi's just been asked to run 75, 80 yards to switch with Ari Sheikh because for some reason they didn't want Rajbanshi out of long off. I don't know why he was there in the first place. I don't think that's where Paul van Meekeren's going to hit. Everything will target the leg side here. There's 2 men in the deep out there. Beautiful June sunshine bathing the ground. That's exactly where he's going to try and hit. We'll just get a single.
But you go back to those 3 away wins in the UAE, different proposition coming to Scotland and winning
And also,
three.
with due respect, Mel, to the UAE and PNG, different quality and calibre of opposition. Talking about two of the best associate teams that there's been across the course of the last decade. This is a Dutch side that are beating South Africa and Bangladesh at the 50-over World Cup in 2023. This is okay, they're missing some county players, of course they are, but they're in their home conditions, in European conditions. That'll end Sandeep Lamachani's spell. With 48 bowled, it's 209 for 9. Great effort from him today. Not at his best 2 days ago. None for 69. Look at the turnaround today. 10 overs, 3 for 39. Maybe the headband is the secret, the magic potion. I think we'll see that next game too, won't we?
I think we will, knowing the way that many cricketers work. Yeah, the 3 wickets, economy rate of 3.9, did exactly what he needed to today.
And he's then wearing the headband as kind of a double wraparound on the wrist, so definitely some kind of a lucky charm. Looking forward to hearing the story behind that.
Oh, multi-purpose.
So Yadav will bowl his 9th. He's got a chance for a 4-wicket haul on debut.
So what you were saying about the calibre of opposition and the very different conditions, then I think we make a case that this has been their best performance away from home during the ICC Cricket World Cup League 2.
Yeah, would absolutely agree. I speculated if they could win 2 from 4 in these conditions, they'd be doing really well. For the Dutch, though, we've got questions to answer. Unless they can pull off a miracle here, that's not going to help. Big swing and a miss. 28 it is to win off now just 11 deliveries. They are staring down the barrel of 4 defeats on the bounce. And you think this is a Dutch side who got a rude awakening and a wake-up call out in Muscat in Oman. And then they turned it all around. They won the bounce after that. And if you include the defeat to Scotland that rounded out their home series, 4 defeats in a row.
And they've got to turn it around. They've still got a game to play against Scotland. And they certainly, if they don't want to make it 4 from 4, they definitely don't want to make it 5 from 5.
It's a good shot just over the head of Rohit Powell. Bounces off the turf, but the skipper somehow drags it in. Unbelievable effort. Very nearly creates a run-out chance too. They'll end up getting 3. Well, we've seen some brilliant fielding today. Probably none better than this from the captain, Rohit Powell, as Anil Shah looks in a spot of bother. How did he catch this one up? How did he cut it off?
Because he's superhuman. That's how, Lenny. The speed. Once he realised the catch wasn't on, he just zipped into 6th gear. That is outstanding. Even the awareness of where his front foot was sliding. Brilliant stuff from the captain.
They've got 4 or 5 truly world-class fielders, don't they? Don't think Anil Shah will thank Nanda for that throw. 3 to the total, 25 to win off 10 now for Netherlands. Can they start to get something going? 24 off 10. Van Meekeren is capable. He's got big long levers. Constantly talks about how he's improving his batting. Can he get a couple out of the screws from this over? Because you've got to remember, I think it'll be Karen KC to bowl the 50th final, unless he turns to Depender Singh Hari. They're really the only 2 options.
You can't tell me there's another twist coming, Lenny. You can't tell me there's another twist coming.
Maximum this over, make it 15 off the final if you can. You just never know. Another all-time classic here in Dundee. We've seen so many good games, haven't we? Really have. Blessed for the competitive nature of this league. Every fan on their feet again. This one's powered through the offside. A really good strike. Flies to the rope. The Dutch hanging about. Van Meekeren says this game is not over yet. It flies for a boundary that silences the Nepal fans in the crowd.
Well, who cares if he's number 11? He just gave a lovely, clean swing through the ball. Well placed in the end. Not even the best dive could have stopped that one. Oh boy, hang on to your woolly hat, Lenny. It ain't over.
It ain't over till it's over, particularly when Nepal are involved. The Dutch, they still believe 20 to win, 9 balls to do it. Another boundary would help. Oh, misses out. And a scream of frustration. He's got to run the single. Oh, and I'll tell you something. We're not going to have an obstruction in the field call, thank God, because he just held his line, but he was too focused on his frustration of missing out. This was, well, absent-minded from Van Meekeren at best. You could hear his frustration. He thought it was there to be hit, but no appeal from Powell or from any of the fielders. This would have been an insane end. Look at him here. He just realised he had to run at the last second. And the throw was wide anyway, and he didn't change his line, so nothing wrong with that. If he was run out like that to finish, well, it would have summed it all up. Dependra Singh Marie goes so quick to the ball. Van Meekeren said, I've still got to run. Okay, 19 to win, 8 to do it. They need a boundary from one of these two balls, and then who knows, hitting with the wind off the 50th and final. There could be life in this game yet. Oh, missed out. It was in the slot, but a little bit of tail back in. And good skills from Yadav, but should Dud have got bat on ball here.
Wow. Good delivery. Look at that tail in though. That's good bowling. Look at where Anil Sar ended up taking that ball.
It's just the extra pace, isn't it, of Yadav that makes the difference. If that's coming in at KC's pace, that probably goes out of the ground. It was right in the slot, to be honest with you. The additional velocity and the little bit of movement back in was just enough. Dutt still should have probably done more, though. 19 to win off 7. 4 or 6 here. We could be set up for another barnstormer. The 10th wicket trying to get it done for the Netherlands. They're still fighting. Slashed into the offside. Should be at least one. I don't think they'll get the second. Nepal's ground fielding has really held up wonderfully well. We're going all the way to the 100th and final over for the 4th time in 5 matches, and for the 4th time, or the 3rd time in 4 Nepal matches. It's 219 for 9.
Well, Cardiac Kids, you've done it again. I know my heart is absolutely pounding as we look here at the bowling figures for Nepal. They should all hold their heads high. Then they're having a big discussion at the moment just about who is going to bowl this last over, I think. It looks like they've just patted Karen Casey on the back.
Well, there was only 2 options really, wasn't there? Unless they turned to a 7th bowler. Was it Dependra Singh Irie or was it Karen KC? Irie can bowl at the death. He's a good option at the death, but just wonder whether or not this is the right call. It's a tall task for the touch. KC's got 18 to protect. Get a couple of good deliveries away that don't go to the rope. He should be able to close it out, but never say never. He will be hitting with the breeze. Slightly nowhere near as strong as the last few days. If anything, Breeze might have just turned about a touch. Don't know where Dutt is going to target. I've given up on predicting things with the week that we've had, Mel.
Well, I was just going to say, you're right. Those flags are flying in the opposite direction that they have been all week. I think the wind has turned around.
May well have. And if you look at the way in which that ball died, the one that Van der Merwe hit into the offside, prevailing wind has moved. I think it means that Aryan Dutt, if anything, might target the offside. If you look at the field, it looks like Casey's going to come round the wicket, target outside the off stump. There might be an opportunity to slash a few away here. It's just sort of shadow batting. Yeah, there it is. It's makes it all the stranger, that circle here, Mel. So you could see an edge for 4, an edge that might fly all the way down the hill for 6.
What you're saying is if you're going to flash hard and true.
Well, there's going to be bat speed aplenty, isn't there? Okay, 18 to win off 6. We're going all the way yet again. Can the Dutch pull it out of the fire? It would be extraordinary if they can. Here's Karen Casey. Hit down the ground, no timing. Can Van Meekeren get back for 2? I think he might have been able to, but I think he wants the strike. He's saying that he's more likely to hit boundaries than Aryan Dutt, who's only got 8 off 11.
Well, this is it. Oh boy.
What about some penalty runs? What about a no ball? What about a free hit? Is there anything we haven't seen yet today or through this series? Waist high no ball, that's what I'm calling in.
Oh, Lenny, stop it.
Sense it coming.
What are you trying to do to us? It could be anything.
Van Meekeren needs a maximum here. It's 20 runs required, the run rate now per over. looks for a bit of innovation. That's going to be that. Nepal take a third win from 4 in European conditions. Van Meekeren was trying to hit it with the wind. Arif Sheikh, fittingly, is the one that takes the catch after a career best for him with the bat. The Nepal fans are jubilant. So too are Nepal. It was a very, very interesting game. It ebbed and it flowed. But ultimately, Karen Casey, who's had the most brilliant series, has proved a little too good. A rather remarkable stroke to get out to. Arif Sheikh takes the catch and Nepal win. Nepal win for a third time in the series. We've seen another cracker. They've pulled it out of the fire and they are worthy winners over the Dutch, who've got questions to answer.
Guys, सबजना सब्सक्राइब गरिदेऊ न यार जितेको खुसीमा
First batting, you didn't think
Subscribe,
they had
please,
enough.
subscribe.
Felt it was below par, and well, with those controversial penalty runs as well, that even made it a more difficult task to defend. But you never rule them out. And a huge, huge round of applause for the captain, Rohit Paudel, the way he moved his bowlers around and rotated them through. It was magnificent stuff. They kept the pressure on. They found wickets.